Again, this is a Prestashop 1.7 introduction kind of tutorial. If you haven't started at the beginning, you might want to do that. It goes through the menu structure and kind of a basic overview of what's what. In this video, we're going to go through setting up your catalog, your products, and all of that information. So to start off with, we're going to deal mainly with this catalog tab. So in this catalog tab, we have products, categories, monitoring, attributes and features, brands and suppliers, files, and then your discounts. Okay, so let's just start out with, before you add products, you're going to want to start with categories. Okay, this is a critical thing in e-commerce. You want to make sure that you organize your site in a way that's logical to your users. Okay, if a user can't logically find something, they're not going to shop on your site. So if you haven't already, take the time, pause this video, write down all of the categories, the main departments, if you will, that your company falls within. So I'm going to do a sample store here, and for this sample store, we're going to just go with, say, an art supplier, an art supplier for kids stuff. Okay, so by default, when you install Prestashop, it's going to have some default categories. I don't want it. I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, so just go over there and delete it. Don't want it. I'm going to go over and start over. So now it's going to say, how do you want to delete the products? And say, or delete the category. What do you want me to do with the products? And so right now, I don't want any of the products in the store. So I'm going to say I want to remove all the products which are listed within this category. Okay, say delete. I don't want any of the default categories or products. I'm just going to erase it and start from 0. Okay, in Prestashop 1.7, now you can change your home category. If you want to change the default name, say all products or whatever, you can edit that. I'm not going to here, but we're just going to go and say add new category. Sorry, internet's a little bit slow here. It's there we go. Okay, so I'm going to say this category is tables. Okay, and I'm going to put tables is under the home. Okay, then you come over here and you can add a description. You can add a cover image. This is a category cover image, not a product, but the category. So use a generic picture that will work for all of the products within there. Okay. You could do a thumbnail, or Prestashop can create one for you. The meta title. Okay, the meta title is what shows up at the top. I've had tabs hidden on this video, but the top tab, you can see where it says, da-da-da, then the name of the store. You can change what that meta title is right here. If you don't put it, it's going to use whatever's in this name will automatically become the meta title. Meta description, this is just a short description about what that category is. Okay, I like Prestashop. They have here, this is the number of characters, and as you type, see how it brings the characters down. These are Google's kind of standards, or just SEO standards. You don't want to keep your description under 160 characters. You can go over, but it's not recommended. Okay, meta keywords, waste of time. I don't know why they even leave it in the platform. None of the search engines use it. You can if you want to, but it just tells your competitors what you're trying to rank for. Okay. Friendly URL, it will create. I have friendly URLs turned on, so rather than doing a whole bunch of HTML code in the URL link, it'll make a nice friendly code that says domain.com/tables or categories/tables, whatever. Okay, the other thing is you can change who you're going to allow access: visitors, guests, customers. Visitors, someone that just hit your page. Okay, a guest is someone that's checked out but didn't create an account. A customer is someone that's created an account. Okay, and here's the descriptions of those. You can, as I mentioned in the first video, you can create more group access and give different groups different power and information, but that will be for a little bit later. Right now, I'm just going to leave that as tables, and then we'll say save. Okay, and it's that easy to add categories. Now, say I want to add a subcategory. So under tables, we're going to add something else. Just come down here. Just click on tables. Okay, and it will open. Now you're viewing the home/tables category. So now if you add another category here, it's going to put the category under tables. Okay, so that easy. I don't want a subcategory here, so I'm going to go back to the list, and let's just add another basic category. Okay, we'll say new Okay, and we're going to call this coloring paper. Okay, and again, I'm just going to leave everything else the same. The other thing is, if you want to make a subcategory when you're doing it, just make sure to mark, I want this, this is where coloring paper is going to fall under tables. I want it to be a high level category, so I'm just going to save it. So now when it saves and goes back, you'll see both of those two categories. Okay, as I mentioned, take your time, figure out what categories, and organize it in a way that makes sense to your customers. So we got tables, we got coloring paper, do whatever categories you need to, and then subcategories. Just make sure you organize it so that it makes sense. Okay, that's all I'm going to do here for categories. So now let's go and talk a little bit about attributes and features. Okay, so they have a double tab up here. So if you want to look at features, you go here, and then attributes here. Okay, so these get confusing. So you have attributes and features. It goes, well, isn't there kind of the same thing? Well, yes and no, but it's the way that Prestashop handles them. Okay, so an attribute is something that you can select and sell a product based on, or a combination. Okay, say they've got shoe size here. Okay, you have a runner's shoe, and this black runner's shoe is available in size 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever. That is a orderable characteristic of that product. You can create multiple combinations, as Prestashop calls it, a combination of a product using these information. So maybe I'm going to have a blue shoe and a red shoe and a green shoe. Okay, and then when I go to check out, it's one product, but it has multiple color options, if that makes sense. That is where you use attributes. A feature just describes a product. You can't do anything with it. It's just a description of the product. Oops, I didn't click on it here. So while this is loading, again, it's a feature is, say, a leather, material. It's not one of these, but you got material. Say, well, the shoe's made of leather versus it's made of canvas or plastic, or it's a rubber boot, or it's neoprene. Okay, that's just describing the product. You're not going to sell, one product's most likely not going to be made out of neoprene or rubber, or neoprene or leather. You're not going to have a drop down say, well, I want this one in a rubber boot, or I want this one in a leather boot. It just describes the product. Height, width, depth, weight. I don't typically use weight as a description. Composition, styles, properties. These are just their default ones that explain and describe the product, and I'll show you how you set these up when we go to create the product. But I want to make sure, if you have specifics that you're going to use, make sure you get in here and edit them first. So attributes and features. Attributes are sellables. Features are descriptions. Okay. So now let's go back to the products. Oh, sorry. Let's go brands and suppliers first. So under brands and suppliers, they just switched this in 1.7. It used to be called manufacturers and suppliers. Well, now they figured a lot of people don't really call them manufacturers. They call them brands. Apple, HP, whatever, Samsung. Those would be classified as brands versus a manufacturer now. So you have a brand, and so they still call it manufacturer here, but fashion, manufacturer, and then address. I don't know why they separate these, but you create the brand and then you can assign that brand an address. Kind of weird, but whatever. So suppliers you don't actually have to show your suppliers online, but if you use any type of advanced management, which is actually, by the way, the advanced management module, if you're used to other Prestashops, is not available in 1.7. So not yet, at least. They're supposed to be releasing it, but it's not yet available. But if you want to do some advanced information like who am I buying my products from, if you're just buying and reselling, you want to set up a supplier that you can select and say, I buy this product from this company. And you don't, like I said, you can turn that off so it doesn't tell your customers where you buy it, but you'll want to set it if you use any type of advanced stock management so that you can create purchase orders based on each supplier. Okay, so go through and make sure if you sell particular brands of products, come in here and set those brands. If you sell, and then if you buy from suppliers, go ahead and set those suppliers. Now, once you have all that set, we can go into adding an actual product. Okay, so again, here is a list of these are the pre-defined automatically uploaded products. I don't really want any of them, so I'm going to go over here and select all, and I'm going to delete all of them. Say delete now. I don't want any of them, and it's going to go through and just delete them. Okay, so all those products are deleted. So now we're going to go here and say add your first product. Or you can say add a product up here, either one, the same tab, doesn't matter. Okay, and if you've used 1.6, you notice this is drastically different. They've completely redone the whole product information. So we're going to come over here and say add product. We're going to say, single Okay, and then the next thing to do would be add some images. So you can drag and drop images in, or you can say select files. His recommended file size is 800 by 800. That's pretty much if you have a the default theme, sorry. And then I don't have really an image, so let's just go in here and I'm just going to throw in our logo here for the lack of a better, and it's way too small. It's 250 by 250 pixels. So when I do web stores, I create a template file in our software, whatever graphic software you use, and do 800 by 800 at 72 dpi, and then upload them in here. Okay. Then you can create summaries and descriptions. Your summary on a typical product page, you have the image will sit here. The summary is going to sit right next to it under the description, and then you have your buy button. And your description typically is down at the bottom. Okay. So just note that your summary is just a short, snippet, and then you have your description. So I'm just going to put some information here. A lot of times they'll call them short description, long description in other softwares, but it's summary and description here. Okay. And then we're going to go here and add a feature. This is what I was talking about. A feature is, width, height, depth. So the height is, you can either pick a predefined, or you could say, it's 24 inches high table. Okay. And then we're going to add another one. We're going to say its width is 36 inches. Okay. And if you have predefined, you can click these and pick them. And you can add as many features as you want. A brand, this is a fashion manufacturer, and you can do related products based on, at the very bottom it'll show, hey, if you like this product, here's some additional products that are like it. You can make related products. Or if you're doing, an embellishment, if you're doing crafts or whatever, you can add, say, hey, with this, product, add these to make it look better. Or upgrades, if you have different upgrades, you can add them here. That's a great way to do it. So you can add as many features as you want. You can only have one manufacturer. I'm not going to put a manufacturer on this. I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, and then you have simple product with combinations, and then you can also do product bundles, but we're not going to get into that here. So a reference is if you have like a SKU that you want to use to track it with, put it in here. Quantity available, you can adjust this later in quantities, which is our next tab. Pricing, we're going to sell this for 150 bucks, whatever. And then a tax rate. So you can do no tax. You can also set your store so it won't even accept tax. We're going to say an Idaho tax rate at 6%. Okay. And then you set what categories you want it to be. Well, remember we created the category called table. This one's a table. And if you want it in the home category, you can. But just note, if you put it in the home category and someone goes to the home, it'll show all products. So the other thing you want to really note is whatever your main default category is, or your very first category, is what will set the URL for this product, unless they change it, which I don't believe they have. I forgot to verify that before I did this video. But typically when you have a URL string, you'll have domain.com/ the category name tables / the product name. Okay, well, if you come in later and change it, say, oh, I put it in the wrong category, I want it to be in coloring paper, you just change the URL of that product. Okay, now if Google indexed that page, you just went and changed where it was indexed at, and Google's going to have to go back and re-index it, and you could lose some link juice per se. Okay, so just note that whatever category you want to typically pick your best category and never change your main category. You have multiple categories, and you can put it in both, but whatever's first is you want to be, typically never change your first category. Okay, so then we're going to go to, and you can create new categories. I'm just going to go ahead and say, save this real quick. Okay, so it's saved. So now I'm going to go over to quantities. This is where you can add quantities. Again, they used to have an advanced feature where you can do an advanced stock module. It's not available currently in 1.7. So you say, I got X number, I've got 25 of these. And then you can say when it's out of stock, what do you want to do? Use default behavior, which this is a setting in your shop parameters that we'll set later. So I'm just going to leave it on default. And you can do label when in stock, label when out of stock. And then if you want to do availability date, say you're out of stock, but it's going to come in the next 2 weeks, you can come in here and put it there to let your customers know, hey, it's out of stock, it's coming soon. And you can say, if back order is allowed, you can come and say back orderable or in stock. Okay, or you leave it blank and you don't have to show it at all. And then you go into shipping. You can put in your width, height, depth, weights. This I haven't changed it. The default store is still centimeters and kilograms. You can change that to inches and pounds. Shipping fee. Do you have an additional fee for shipping this? And the available carriers, which we haven't set carriers, but you can pick up in store, and you can set as many carriers as you want. If you don't select, if you don't click any carriers, it'll automatically select all carriers. That's this notice right here. Okay. Now here's your advanced pricing. You can do pricing per unit. So if it's like it's $150 per pound, you can do that and add that information here. You can display things on sale if you're going to do a sell. Now this is cost, which I'm glad they've changed this. They used to say wholesale price, which was confusing for companies that sold wholesale and retail, and they kept putting their wholesale price in this category. No, this is your physical cost. Say it cost me $45 to make this product or to buy this product. Okay, and then you can have specific prices. So if you want to add, say, different countries have a different price or different groups. So now that if you want to say this product in the wholesale, wholesale normally by default gets 10% off. Or you can say wholesale group, it gets regular price, and then you come in here and say, I want to, these guys get it for $130, $5 instead of $150. Or you can say leave the initial price, but give them, they get 25% off this item versus their normal 10. Okay, I don't want that. And then priority management. This is for pricing based on if you have specific prices, you can say which one will trump them. So if you're, you have a group discount, you can say, well, the group discount trumps this price or whatever. That gets pretty advanced. I wouldn't even worry about that. And if you have special priority management, you can apply to all products. I don't use this. This is pretty rare occasions. You have to be doing some pretty advanced stuff to even need that. Okay, but it is there. So then we're going to go to SEO. This is where you can add more of your meta title, your meta description. This shows you your friendly URL and redirect when offline. So right now we're offline. So if you publish it and then take it back offline, you can say permanent redirection, temporary redirection, and you can change how you want it to redirect. Okay. And then you come here to options. This is where do you want it to appear? Everywhere, catalog, search. So someone has to find it in the search bar, or nowhere. If you're doing an admin product that only admins have access to, you say nowhere. No one can find it. Oh, it's only available in the back office. Available for order. It's a web only, not sold in your retail store. If you have a brick and mortar, you can mark it here and say you only get this online. We don't carry it. We don't stock this. So if someone doesn't look it up and they come and go, well, where is it? You don't have it. Condition, you can have new, used, refurbished. You can display condition on product page. ISBN if it's a book. This is European codes or a UPC. And now you can do customization if you want to allow customization field. Or you can attach files, and then this is where you pick your supplier. Okay, and we're going to say it's the fashion supplier, and we're going to make that a default supplier. And then you can come in here and do where is it located. You can say, well, what am I paying that supplier for? If you get different price points for different suppliers, you can record all of that information there. Okay, so that's pretty much that product. If you're going to do something more advanced, where pack or virtual products, you can change that up here. If you're doing a package of products or virtual downloadable product, use this. Okay, but I'm going to go back to basic settings, and this is going to be a product with combinations. Now it opens a combination tab. Now this is where I was talking about your attributes. Okay, so here is, you can do single, you can create them one at a time. Or you can say, I'm going to create, these are the sizes, this is the shoe size, so I've got these different shoe sizes, and this product is available in those colors, and say generate. Okay, it is now going to generate all of these different combinations. Okay, now I just created a ton of combinations. I probably shouldn't have done quite that many, but okay, so now it's going to come in here and say, well, woohoo, we have all these different combinations, and you can say your impact on price. Well, this one's going to be an extra $50. So now see, it says final price is $200. This one's going to be less $25. So now it's only $125. And then you can put the quantity that you have. I've got 25 or 52 of those. Anyways, go all the way through it. You can delete it. You can edit it. If you want to change the picture, you can go in here and say edit, and then you can change all this information. You can add specific barcodes. You can do different references, so if you have a different SKU for each product, or you can set up images, different images, okay? And you can set one of them as a default combination, so when they click on the product, this is the first combination that shows up. Okay, so that is doing products with. Okay, once you're done with that, setting all the products and combinations that you want, and your product's good to go, make sure to save it again, and then you can control whether it's online or offline by toggling the switch to make it available. If it's offline, it means it won't show up. It's not orderable. It takes it off the website or online. And then just make sure you save when you're done. And that is creating a basic, simple product.